All right, we're going to do it tonight. It's the night after the 4th of July. The day after the 4th of July, which would make it July 5th. If my calendar is correct, I would say it's July 5th.
Welcome to everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, big time.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, Jonathan? All right, big time 4th of July. Did you guys have a good 4th of July? Here's what happened to me real quick. Friday, the power went out in Cleveland Heights because they have no way of realizing we're going to be 95 degrees. Everybody is off Friday. Everybody's going to have the AC on. And, and then they can't handle the grid. And boom, everybody's electricity goes out for the entire day. So that was Friday.
Joe, you should have set your thermostat to 78 so that you can join in New York City. That's what they're suggesting.
Is that what they're
Everybody
saying? Yeah.
demanding 78. Well, pretty soon they're going to have smart meters, and they're going to be able to regulate. They won't even have to tell you what to set. They'll set it for you.
Oh, don't even get us started on smart meters. We're actually doing a special dedicated program on that on Friday on Voice of Geauga. I've got some special guests lined up. I'm going to, this is a teaser. I actually haven't finished the conversation yet with Brian and Joe, but I'm going to suggest that some of the people that I'm bringing in to talk about smart meters may also fit well in Ohio political news. So that is a hot button topic, whether you know it or not. Smart meters, flock cameras, and AI data centers all fit in part of the same conversation.
Yeah, they
The
are.
short
all
answer
hot-
that I
hot
suggest
topics.
is avoid at all costs.
You know, we had, this was another hot topic, too. We had Chris Long on the other night, and the whole cutting the gas tax, that's a hot issue as well. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of that discussion. Now, the gas prices are starting to come down, which is good news, but we've got 1.5 billion, 1.6 billion in excess. They collected too much tax money, and this is a way to give it back to us. Just get rid of the gas tax until they use up that $1.5 billion. And it should go on for 3-4 months or something like that. So that would be nice. So you have about a 40% reduction in the gas per gallon. That's what they should be doing. But all the lawmakers are on vacation right now. They're all out there having a good time, and nobody's coming back until after the election. So I don't know if it's going to get done. It should. I don't know if it will.
Is that something that the governor can do on his own? Can the governor just make that decision, or does it have to be a legislative issue?
I think he would. They'd have to go through the legislature. But here's the problem with DeWine. He doesn't want to do it. He does not want to do it.
Yeah, we would have to have a Republican governor in order to be able to do that.
We'd have to have a
That's the
real
problem.
Republican governor in order to do it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to do it, so you've got to get enough votes that it's an automatic override right from the get-go, and then you don't have to worry about him vetoing it because he can't veto it at that point. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if that can get it going. I want to talk, Trump was out in South Dakota, and let's look at some of what he was talking about here.
Most people in most places have lived a life plagued by suffering, poverty, exploitation, violence, and misery. But here in America, in this land, on this continent, we have written a very different story. It's a tale of adventure, liberation, and unmatched greatness. It's the story of people governing themselves, the many uniting as one, the men and women rising by their own skill and talent to go further and reach higher than anyone has ever gone before. America.
You know what I love about this guy is that he is so, the whole MAGA movement is so American and everything, and it makes you proud to be an American. So he's just a great president. A lot like George Washington. Maybe we'll talk about him a little bit later too. But just an outstanding guy. And he does get into coming up here. He does talk about communism and the problem with communism, of how it could just take over this country if we are not careful.
Americans did not bow before a king or a government, but kneeled only before Almighty God. This was the spirit that demanded freedom, and this was the culture that built America and carved its heroes into Mount Rushmore.
It's funny because he desperately wants to get himself on Mount Rushmore, and I think it would be absolutely outstanding. If
You can be loyal to Karl Marx, or you can be loyal to America. You can be a communist, or you can be a patriot. You cannot be both. As for
100%.
those who peddle Marxist lies about our heritage, who tell our children that we live on stolen land or that our heroes were oppressors, they're doing something much worse than slandering our past. They are slandering and attacking our future. Not going to let that happen. They're trying to tear down the great American character, to destroy the people who declared independence, who crossed the Delaware, who settled the West, and who conquered the skies. You know who those people are. But we will never let that happen. Our American ancestors did not shed their blood at Concord and Trenton, Gettysburg and Shiloh, Midway and Normandy, just so that a band of thieves, radicals, and lunatics could come in and loot, pillage our nation. Our heroes died to win, build, and to save, and to build truly a great country, the greatest country ever in the world.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Great talk. Here's the fireworks. The ending of it. Mount Rushmore. All right. So anyhow, that was a pretty darn good speech there by our president and all that. But I really liked. I didn't get any footage about the Washington Monument. What happened here? Just didn't. But I did get some of that Mount Rushmore stuff, and he's talking about communism. Any thoughts on that, Brian? And you look.
Yeah,
really
I just
good
wonder.
for it.
I think that was a great speech. I'm really sad that we can't get our governors to feel the same way. Certainly, DeWine, he needs to retire, today, and we need to get somebody in there that believes in the greatness of our nation. DeWine does not. He's selling us out to believes in the open borders. He'll bring anybody in that that won't assimilate. And you can see the waste, fraud, and abuse, in Franklin County, in Columbus area, and DeWine does nothing about it. So his legacy is that he sold out the citizens of the state of Ohio, and and I would say that the Republican Party needs to think long and hard about putting any more Kasich or a governor like DeWine. I mean,
Yeah,
when you think about
both
who's
of them.
been running the state
Terrible.
of Ohio, before that was a Democrat, Strickland, right? And then we had
Right.
8 years of Kasich, and now 8 years of DeWine. No wonder Ohio isn't number one in anything other than the funding of public libraries.
Yeah, we're number one in a lot of taxes. That's what we're number one in. And yeah, think about that. You had Strickland, and then you went from him to Kasich, which was no improvement. And then you went from
None.
Kasich to DeWine, which is where
It's
we're
been
at
a
now.
continual slide.
We should be working to get an actual Republican in office.
How low
I mean,
can
that's-
you go? I know. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know which one is trying to out worse the one before them. A couple of thoughts when you bring up communism. I always like to plug that website. Go to victimsofcommunism.org and share that with your grandchildren and children. Share it with your neighbors. Like and repost that. It outlines all kinds of great stuff that are, excuse me, that are waypoints in the growth and development of communism. If we don't understand history, we're doomed to repeat it. On that front, what's the guy's name that ran for mayor of LA? I keep drawing a blank on his name. He released a great video highlighting the growth of communism, what it's trying to do in the U.S. It's a spectacular video. I'll warn you, it does have some cuss words in it. The guy drops a couple of F-bombs and those sorts of things. If you can pass over those, then it's a great video. I found it on X. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the guy's name.
Mondami or
Was
something
was
like
that-
that, isn't it?
No, Mondani is New York.
Right.
No, the guy that ran as the conservative that ran for mayor of L.A. That outlandish guy with the spectacular commercials. What's
I'm not sure who that is.
Was that
it'll
Pratt?
come to me in a minute. But the other thing is, I did see a text message from Tom Z at We the People. he has actually posted the fireworks display, and his suggestion is go find the biggest high definition screen that you can and push play if you missed the fireworks in Washington, D.C. It was a spectacular fireworks display. Tom Z has encapsulated that, so there's a one click and you can watch video of the fireworks display.
You know, I want to just reiterate something about 1776 here that I was able to dig up. I thought was kind of interesting here. Did you know that Congress, they voted the final text of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, but did you know that they didn't sign it on July 4th? I did not know that. They did not sign it until August 2nd, so about a month later. That's interesting. That's an interesting tidbit there. And it says in the end, 56 delegates signed the document representing all 13 colonies, but not everybody signed it on August 2nd. Some of them signed it a few days later. And then for 6 months, this is interesting, for 6 months after that, the identities of the signers were kept confidential because Congress feared British retaliation, since signing was effectively an act of treason against the crown. And if they failed in their battles, if the Revolutionary War failed, they're all, that's the end of them. And in 1776, by the way, things didn't look very good. Washington had lost a few battles, and we were on very shaky ground. It looked like we were going to get crushed early on. And so these guys were like kind of hedging it. Okay, here's our document. We are declaring independence, but don't let anybody see that we signed it because we're losing the war. It's kind of amazing. But they came back, and that war lasted, I don't know, like 7 years. It lasted a long time. But that's some interesting tidbit information there. I also want to talk about, unless you guys have any thoughts on that. Do you have any thoughts on that real quick? Anything with the Revolutionary War?
Revolutionary War. Well, I think we're in another Revolutionary War here in the state of Ohio and in our great nation. I just hope we don't continue with the path of with the Democrats and the ever-increasing socialists and Marxists and communists, whatever we want to call them, that seems to be taking over the Democrat Party. It's going to be interesting in the November elections to see what really happens. But if you remember when we had our meeting at the Oval Office in Kirtland Hills, we declared our independence from the state of Ohio by abolishing property taxes. We no longer want to be just renters from the government in the state of Ohio. So that was our declaration of independence from Ohio tyranny.
Yeah, there you go. I got two things. It took me a minute to look up his name. I don't know why I blanked on his name. It's Spencer Pratt, who ran recently for mayor of LA. Find him on social media and watch his great videos. And the most recent one that I've seen, it was just a few days ago, has to do with the fight for independence and fighting against communism. And on that front, I strongly encourage everybody out there to go and see Young Washington. We went yesterday, and it's well worth it. All the hype, it lives up to it. Angel Studios came out with Young Washington. It is upbeat, uplifting. It is a great, stellar performance. I loved every bit of this movie. I left invigorated with pride and patriotism. Young Washington, I suggest it for 13 and up. I don't remember how what the rating is of the movie, but age appropriate and up. Everybody under the age of above the age to go and see that movie. I suggest you should go watch Young Washington. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I just found a different background. I'm gonna use this one for the time being. It's a little more patriotic. All right, let's play something here. We've got I want to get a little discussion going with the taxes. You guys were out in Strongsville. Well, Brian was out in Strongsville along with John Pleshnik, who couldn't join us tonight. But I know that Pleshnik really whooped it up yesterday big time. He had been waiting for the 250th anniversary for a year. I remember a year ago him telling us, next year it's the big 250. I'm thinking a year. You're talking about 250. It's, this was last year at this time. I'm like, that's ridiculous. And all of a sudden, not only is it here, but it's gone. It's come and gone.
Yeah, I remember going to the commissioner meetings, and they had the 250 committee that they were building, over a year ago, and Commissioner Plechik was a very large part of that. He did a great job. He was, I think yesterday he was at a dedication ceremony for a new Garfield statue.
Wow!
I'm sure we can find that online too. But he got rave reviews. I mean, he was outstanding at the Strongsville GOP panel discussion with Representative Dave Thomas and Ohio Buckeye Institute President Greg Lawson, who also participated.
Let's play a little bit of that if we can. Let me see if I've got the audio. Do I have the audio? Play. It's not playing.
The demons.
Not just a majority, but a supermajority of Ohioans of property. It's the reason why public polling shows that not just a majority, but a supermajority of Ohioans support the abolition of property taxes. I was sitting at the kitchen table
you do hear it.
of Vivek Ramaswamy, talking to him along with Brian Massey, and he admitted this is the #1 issue in Ohio. And yes, of course, I'm a candidate for governor. I'm polling it. You've got over 65% support. It's the reason why public polling shows that not just a majority, but a supermajority of Ohioans support the abolition of property taxes. I was sitting at the kitchen table of Vivek Ramaswamy, talking to him along with Brian Massey, and he admitted this is the #1 issue in Ohio. And yes, of course, I'm a candidate for governor. I'm polling it. You've got over 65% support. It's the reason why public polling shows that not just a majority, but a supermajority of Ohioans support the abolition of property taxes.
What he said, Brian. You guys could hear it. I got to fix the audio on my part. I couldn't hear it. But go ahead and get that started with that conversation. I could see some of the caption, though.
Yeah, I was talking about our meeting at Ramaswamy's house, and but unfortunately, Ramaswamy is not has not signed a petition. It's probably a political hot potato, for him, and he's. There is a video out there. Someone sent it to me that Ramaswamy was saying that. Well, it didn't pass. We didn't get enough signatures for the November 2026 ballot. And part of the reason is because Ramaswamy has got a great idea to reform, and that is lower the property values to pre-COVID numbers. And a little bit of chutzpah, as far as I'm concerned, with Ramaswamy saying that he had influence on that. People are not even talking about his suggestion for reform. So I disagree with what he is saying completely.
Their husband had passed away, and they said, Brian, I can't pay these property taxes.
See if this.
I said, we've got to do something
let
about
me see
the
if this one will
taxes.
play.
I had been receiving calls from seniors, women that were in the home on their own. Their husband had passed away, and they said, Brian, I can't pay these property
Can you guys
taxes.
hear? Can you hear yourself,
I
Brian?
said, it's got to be done.
Yeah, we can hear that,
Be
Joe.
an advocate.
Okay.
So Leonard and I
cannot,
says, you know
listen.
what? Let's contact our state reps and our state senator, and let's get the ball rolling. No one would talk to us. We then said, well, let's go down to the state. Redress of our grievances against the government, right? That's one of our rights. Went down, I spoke before the House and the Ways and Means Committee. All I got was, thank you for showing up. I spoke before the Representative Romer's Committee to Review and Reform Property Taxes. This is the one where they produced an 836-page report that did nothing. And what I found out is I was speaking, they censored my speech by playing classical music over what I was saying. And I was telling them that
I can see this where they were
School District
playing
was
that
gonna make
classical
over $8
music.
million
Yeah.
without a vote of the taxpayers, because I knew how to calculate that. I'd educated myself to the point I could determine. I had the Schedule A's from the auditor's office, so I knew what the base was. So I knew what the schools were going to get. They didn't want me to tell anyone. We said we've got to do.
All right, Brian, and I'll get Jonathan in here as well. You guys could hear that. I was kind of reading your lips. I was just trying to do that lip reading, okay? But anyhow, that was a great event at Strongsville. I want to say thanks to Shannon Burns, thanks to Strongsville GOP for putting that on. Thanks for the everybody showing up. Like Greg Lawson was there, David Thomas was there, you were there, Poleshnik was there. We were able to live stream the event, got a lot of hits. It was a attended live stream, not only in person, but we got a lot of people watching, a lot of views on that live stream. Very, very thankful for that.
Yeah,
So,
it was great to talk to patriots, in Strongsville and the surrounding areas, the Strongsville GOP. I was telling the audience that I'm getting mixed reviews from the GOPs, throughout the state. Summit County, fantastic. Out in Mahoning, Lorain County, they're fantastic. In Strongsville, we're going to Dark County. Won't be the GOP, but we'll be talking to Patriots on the 13th, I believe it is. But in Lake County, other than Commissioner John Plechnik, we're getting nowhere with Lake County Republicans. It's truly amazing. Truly amazing. So we could not even collect signatures in the Lake County GOP headquarters. Couldn't use their headquarters, but Summit County, they believe in helping the citizens so much that they even collect signatures in the Summit County Republicans. So I thank Brian Williams down there in the Summit County GOP being a real patriot.
yeah, that is awesome. Okay, Brian Williams, chairman for Summit County. That is awesome. Awesome. But you didn't have any luck here in Lake County where you're at with
No.
Dale Fellows. Was it Dale Fellows or somebody else who was telling you you could do it?
Dale was saying that their bylaws don't allow them to do that. Interesting. That's I don't have anything against Dale. I mean, but that's a reality, and it's surprising to me the differences, the vast differences in the GOP, the county GOPs. There doesn't seem to be a commonality, as far as I'm concerned, in the county GOPs.
Yeah,
and
it
maybe
does
that's why
vary
we
a lot.
maybe that's why we get DeWine as governor.
It does vary a lot when, from chairman to chairman. It varies a lot from chairman to chairman. But I was surprised that they're saying that you're not allowed to do it. I know that it's no secret that Serino, who's a state senator, high-ranking state senator, hates it. That's no. I mean, he's come out
the chairman. He's
publicly
the
and said
chairman
it
of
many,
the
many times.
he's the chairman of the finance committee, and he's the one that I said declared war on we the people, and he said I am totally irresponsible for starting this movement because I don't have a plan to replace the taxes, and
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I'm sad to say that 2 of the 5 founders who initiated this petition are from my county. I know these people. And
That means you, Brian.
I've talked with
No,
them
no.
about this issue, and I said,
Unfortunately, the chairman of the finance committee has trouble adding. So it's not 2. There are 3. It's Leonard Gilbert, John Mara, Timberlake Mayor, and myself. So that's 3.
of the
Senator Serino, 3 in your
in your
county,
backyard. Yeah.
in
who's
your
going to replace
backyard.
the $24 billion that is collected around the
Where are
state?
you gonna? Hey, he wants to know where you're gonna find the $24 billion.
As
not.
Commissioner
don't have
Plechnik
it
says,
on you, do you?
cut spending. Jerry.
Cut spending.
I
Spending.
mean, really.
That's a good
Yeah.
one there. Have you ever tried that at the legislature to cut the dang spending? Maybe that would help.
Have we
and
talked about
Their answer,
Have we talked about Serino and what he has done to the rooster? I mean, really, that's something they do in communist countries.
Well, Trump
Yeah.
was just talking about communism taking over this country. If
Well,
the
what do you think
listen,
of-
if the taxes get any higher than they are, I mean, that's just pure communism in itself. And we had the Boston Tea Party, which started the American Revolution because they were taxing tea, for crying out loud. What do they do now? They tax every
Yeah,
single
they were taxing-
frickin' thing you do. You walk
They were taxing
outside
tea
and
at
take a breath of fresh
3%.
air, they're taxing it.
Yeah, right. The tax on tea was 3%. We're now at 50%. Or if you do the calculations on how we're taxed in the way that I do, which is all of the fees, fines, penalties, the compliance and regulatory payments, and all those kinds of things, many of us are well above 50%. But here's the thing. I've said this before about a friend of mine years ago who kept telling me about the empty seats within the Republican Party. And it was one of those, I will admit, in this circumstance, I was very thick-headed and I was not hearing the message. For years, I kept hearing that there are empty seats within the Republican Party. I didn't know what that meant, but he kept telling me and kept patiently saying it over and over again until one day the light bulb went on and I realized that our Republican Party in the state of Ohio and many other states is roughly 50% empty. 50% of the power of the Republican Party is vacant. Nobody showed up. Nobody bothered to run for the positions, which means it creates this power vacuum. And where the county Republican Party is concerned, and Brian's experience, I want to highlight what that means. There are counties all over the state of Ohio, all 88 counties, at various points struggle with getting enough people in to fill the Republican Party to make it operate and function. If you fill it with the wrong people, you get bad results. And let's face it, the bad guys, the far left, whatever you want to call them, globalist, progressive, liberal, Democrat, whatever, many of them do what's called party raiding. They see the vacuum that exists within the Republican Party. They would love to have communism, and so they merrily skip their way in to the Republican Party and then pretend to be Republicans. It happens all the time. I call it party raiding. So when Brian talks about going out to the various counties all throughout Ohio and receiving very different experiences, and some of them will just they'll point fingers at something and continue to behave in a very feckless way. That's by design. They don't want to accomplish the things that we, the people, want. They want to status quo our way into communism. If we acknowledge that, then we can take the next step, which is toward fixing it. We fix it by getting active and actively recruiting and engaging real patriotic Americans into the Republican Party. All kinds of great things happen if and when we successfully do that. The first is we might actually get back to representative government. Wouldn't that be great? We might actually get back to that two-party system we keep talking about. And then where the move to abolish property taxes, and Brian Massey and his team, their experiences going out into the counties is likely to be very, very different. When you have county Republican parties that he can go and travel to and speak to, that will host him and engage in conversation, and lo and behold, if we actually have a good, solid ground game Republican Party in each county, those are the people that can go out into the community and educate and inform them on the message of abolishing property taxes. That can only happen if we set our sights on it and make it a design and intention to fill the Republican Party with actual Republicans. It's called precinct strategy. I bring it up all the time. Just like my friend years ago who kept saying, hey, we've got all these empty seats. He said it and said it and said it again until one day the light bulb went on for me. I keep saying it and saying it and saying it again. We have a weak, feckless, and about 50% vacant Republican Party throughout the state of Ohio. We will continue to experience derelict, bad results until the day enough of us get on board and take action where we live. That means Darke County, it means Butler County, it means Franklin County, it means every single county in Ohio, all 88 of them. You fill up, or at least get to a majority of concerned, educated, patriotic Americans who want to contribute their time toward defending our republic, then we're going to reclaim our republic. One county at a time, one state at a time, and then the nation.
Yeah. Well, we got to get people on board doing that. We've got to get the chairman of the different counties on board as wanting to do that as well, because what happens too often in these counties is the chairman don't want too many people on this whole precinct committee stuff that you're talking about. They would rather have their friends or people that will vote for what they
Exactly
want
right.
as the majority. And
Exactly
this happens. Right. Yeah, this happens a lot.
And Joe,
this
here's the
happens
question
a lot
now.
all over the place. So the chairman or chairwoman of these counties many times do not want the precinct strategy you're talking about.
Right? No, they don't want it because
that's a reality.
They want it. They want to keep it contained. They want to keep it feckless. They want to keep it pointless. They want to keep it useless. So here's the question to ask. If you have a county GOP, figure out who's on your county GOP. That's the first thing to do. Who is involved at the county level in your Republican Party? And go and ask the question. Over the course of your term, what's been accomplished? We have some people who have been serving as chair of their county Republican Party for 6 years, 10 years, maybe more. Ask them what they've accomplished. If their answer is, well, a couple of times a year we get together, we eat cookies, we have a meeting, that's not an answer. If the answer, the only answer that works for our republic is we get out, we get into the community, we poll people and find out what they want, we advocate for them, we go door to door, we have social media, a web page, we communicate, and we're advocating for the interests of the people. That is the only acceptable answer ever. All of the stuff about how, well, we got this squishy, lukewarm, tepid, former Democrat elected 6 years ago, and then we got them reelected because they keep harming our great republic, and we're supposed to pretend that they're actually a Republican. That nonsense, it has to stop. We have these Republican Party at the county level. We have many of them whose their only claim to fame for like 6 or 10 years is getting some former Democrat elected once. That's it. That's all they do for years and years and years and years.
Yeah,
and that is failing the American
Jonathan
people.
and Joe, though, don't we see that at the state level, though, also in that we see patriots going to the state house as representatives. They've been homeschooled and they're as patriotic as you can get. But then after a year or so in the state house, all of a sudden they turn around and the powers at the state house, the Huffmans of the world and Macaulay's, they say, well, unless you play ball with us, you're a backbencher.
Well, you know what, Brian? Here's the thing. Number one, they're getting a nice paycheck. Number two, they want to maintain that paycheck. Number three, they need the support of the chairman of the House so that he won't primary them and give money to somebody who would be able to defeat them. So that's, the scare tactic that's used.
That's the corruption, though, Joe, in our system. They're not representing the people that voted for them. They're representing the powers.
I worry that if you look at that back end result of 60 plus years of complacency on the part of the United States and we the people, it's true. We got to the point where we are through lethargy and complacency. Nobody wanted to get involved. Everybody was told that politics is ugly and dirty and that's for other people. And so for 60 years plus, the American people have just been sitting it out, been watching the game and drinking beer and eating hot dogs. But that's gotten us to this point, and it's true that the result is working their way up through the ranks are a lot of very bad, dubious, questionable people with very low moral character who get into office. They are easily corrupted, and then even the good ones, they get there and they are a minority. They don't have power to be able to really exert control. But there is hope, and it'll sound crazy at first, but hear me out on this. Back in the 1990s, the Clintons deployed exactly the same strategy to take over the Democrat Party. Eventually, they built a system around taking control over the Democrat Party, and they were very successful at it. Now imagine if we, the people, can do it and fill the Republican Party with the antidote, which is patriotic Americans. Then we have majority, we have voice, we can exert ourselves, and then that's like Lobbyists for Citizens times 300 million fold. That is getting us back to what actually works, which is representative government. It's not a quick and easy step, and it is frustrating. I completely agree with you. We have derelict, horrible, bad actors filling Columbus, Ohio. And some of them got there with good intentions, and they fight the good fight, but maybe somebody steps on them, kicks them in the teeth, threatens them, blackmails them, or something. I don't know what it is, but that will either continue to happen until we are a full communist state and we have to actually physically fight our way out, or we view this the way that I suggest everybody should, which is this is political warfare. We have lost some ground. First of all, the Democrat Party is gone. It's captured by the communists. The Republican Party is infiltrated. If you start to view it in those terms, then maybe we can start to get the necessary urgency on the part of Ohio citizens to say, wait a minute, whoa, hold on a second. I'm not going to spend my days sitting around drinking beer, eating hot dogs, and waiting for the next game and watching us march off the cliff of communism. I'm going to get involved at the local level. If enough people, it's not going to be easy. But
here's the thing.
The alternative is waiting until
yeah.
it gets a lot harder.
It's not going to be easy, and we can talk to some of these candidates that have good intentions but don't have any money, and they don't go anywhere. It's a waste of time to even throw their name into the hat. So anyhow, yeah, that I understand what you're saying there. But Brian, what I was trying to do is answer Brian's question. Is that the people that have worked hard, that were strong conservatives, and now they are in, let's say, the State House, the State Senate, whatever. Why is it that they become kind of like the machine? They become a clog in the machine. They're not grassroots tough anymore. And that's the reason. The reason is they're getting their paycheck, their benefits. They got to stick around a certain amount of time to get all that. They've got to make sure that they don't get on the wrong side of the speaker, because he'll wield his axe real quick. And, that's the game that they play. Unfortunately, that's the game that is played. And we have to bring it to light. I mean, that's one of the things we could do with this platform is bring stuff like that to visibility and to light so that people understand what's going on. But it's a ruthless game. Politics is tough. It ain't for the thin-skinned people at all. I want to get a couple of stories in here real quick, get your thoughts on it right here. So, there's reporting now that the FBI, the FBI came out and investigated Black Fork Strategies. They came out to investigate OOC, which is the Ohio Organizing Collaborative. They were out here last month. There was about 100 FBI agents. And in total, and maybe 25 of them or so, went to the OOC office in downtown Cleveland, and they're asking questions. And actually, the timeline for the questions goes back to last year. So the Cuyahoga County Deputy Elections Directors confirmed that federal agents followed up in early of 2025 on complaints that the county had already filed against Black Fork Strategies. And we know about them. They're a canvassing company that was tied to one of OOC's founders. And county officials have flagged registrations for people who died years earlier, addresses that were changed without the voters' knowledge, and dozens of provisional ballots triggered by irregularities. But the new news on that is the FBI, they're doing a very thorough investigation. We don't know too much beyond that at this point, but they're still investigating. And we've had stories before about Black Fork. and this whole OOC, and it's Democrat operative organizations. They are Democrat operative organizations. Here's something else. I want to get your thoughts here. The campaign finance numbers now for Vivek Ramaswamy and Amy Acton. So Amy Acton, believe it or not, has now outraised Vivek Ramaswamy for the year. $11.5 million to 9.6. Would you have ever thought that was possible? So what she has garnered through donations has exceeded Ramaswamy. $11.5 million to 9.6. And those are just straight raw donations. But as far as cash on hand, it's not even close. Ramaswamy's got about $27 million on hand, and she has $8 million. A lot of that is his own money that he's invested and put into the campaign as well.
Well, I've mentioned, Joe, to some political operatives. I said, in my circles, what I am hearing is that many people they're going to sit out this November election. They are just not. They don't feel compelled to get out there and vote for Vivek. No matter what I say, they feel I'm just going to sit this one out because I was not happy with the way that he got chosen without the people having a say in it. So that could be a real game changer, and that may push, unfortunately.
Okay, but let me just
Democrat.
cut back on that a second. Ramaswamy did go through a primary, remember? There wasn't much competition. Casey Putz and Heather Hill dropped out.
Yeah, I mean, there was a primary, but not really a primary. It was not. He was, Vivek, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he endorsed basically by the party?
He was endorsed a long time ago by the Ohio Republican Party. Absolutely. Absolutely was.
Yeah, so that he was chosen then by the Ohio Republicans.
Yeah.
And
yes,
many times these the Casey Puches of the world, they don't have any money to fight him, and it's just an appearance that there's going to be somebody else on the ballot. Now he got quite a few votes, I guess, but there's no way that he was even remotely going to beat Ramaswamy.
No way.
In my opinion.
No way. No. There was no absolute zero chance that he was going to beat Ramaswamy. However, the crystal balls have been rolling out lately, and it is looking better and better for Ramaswamy. The latest polling shows a Republican lean for governor. It used to be a likely Republican. Actually, it was a toss-up, and then it became likely Republican, and now it is lean Republican, which is another stage over. So he is.
Is that 52%? Does a lean mean 52%, Joe? I don't know.
I would say lean probably is at least 5 or 6 points.
Okay.
Okay, if you're less than that, it's going to be likely.
Mm-hmm.
If it's less than that, it's going to be likely. If it's anywhere near 50-50, it's a toss-up. At one point, some of these polls were even having Acton ahead by a point or something, but basically toss-ups because there's always a 3 to 4 percentage point error, plus or minus, in these polling and stuff. But right now, yeah, I would say up to 5, it is what you would say a lean, and anything above that, maybe 5 to 10 would be likely.
Yeah, did you or Jonathan have an opinion? Vivek wants to eliminate the income tax. Do you have any feel for, does that move people? Does that move the needle at all?
Well, my opinion is no, not much, maybe a little bit. But he's also talking about property taxes. You know that too, that he wants to get involved.
No, he's not. He
is saying that he does.
He's dancing around.
He's saying that he
one.
wants to get involved with it.
Well, here's something that I don't have the gift of prophecy to be sure, but what I see happening is that the schools now, many schools, certainly in the Lake County area and probably the rest of the state, they are now looking at putting on income tax levies, an earned income tax levy. And when you listen to the state officials will say that they do not get a dime on the property taxes. And Commissioner Plechnik and I disagree with that from the standpoint that the Ohio Constitution says that the state is responsible for funding of the public schools. And what the state has done is they have pushed the property tax collection to the local level, and the local communities are collecting the property taxes. But that really is state-funded money because that's what the state has done. Now, here's what I see that's very possible. Vivek and the other state legislators, they're saying they want to eliminate the income tax. So what if when we get this on the property tax issue on the ballot, and if more than 60% of the people are against the property taxes and they vote to abolish it, what could happen is that the state could do the same thing and say that they don't have an income tax at the state level. Now the income tax is collected all locally. So we'll be back in the same soup unless they actually cut spending and consolidation of schools and elimination of educational service centers and do something, drastic to reduce the cost of public education. All they're going to do is substitute a property tax for, an income tax. And it's probably going to be better because then you're going to get uniformity. Everybody's going to be paying it, and you're not going to be a renter to the government. But I see that is a real possibility because of the mindset of legislators and the executive branch of eliminating income taxes in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. And that was a problem I saw coming along with this whole thing too. It's like, well, if this ever passed, all they got to do then is go to the income tax, start taxing that high enough so that they're getting the money they need. So I always said that, you got to abolish the property taxes, but you cannot allow them to be doing these income taxes by the states. That would be absolutely disastrous. The only good thing about it is it's based on income. So if you do retire, Social Security is not considered income or anything. So, when you retire,
not yet. Pay. Yeah, not yet. I mean, they can always change that.
Anything.
Yeah. So but when you think about it, many people they just don't understand the property taxes. Here in Lake County, 40% of the people never get a property tax bill because it's in their mortgage. And if that holds true in the rest of the counties, with an income tax, people are going to see that, and that may be more of a jolt to their system if they see it, taken out of their each paycheck.
Yeah, something like that could happen. Well, Jonathan, I'm going to give you the last word tonight. We're going to wrap it up early tonight, and thank you guys for coming on. I know it's tough because it's the 4th of July. Everybody was having a good time and to come on and do the podcast show and everything. We'll get everything rocking and rolling back to normal next week. But
all right.
I'll give you the last thoughts tonight, and thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is, I'm glad you put this together for tonight. My thought is sugar daddy. Ohio's been playing sugar daddy to all kinds of illegitimate children forever, and it's time to put a stop to that. For as many years as I care to remember, Ohio has been treating any sort of derelict issue, cause, or expansion like we have limitless money, and showering money onto these illegitimate things, causing waste, fraud, and abuse forever. So all these people out there, like Jerry Serino, saying, oh gosh, where would we come up with the 24 million, are just speaking ludicrous. It just absolute asinine comments. It is clear to anybody willing to simply look at basic numbers that Ohio, at $67 billion, our budget was $67 billion prior to COVID. When COVID kicked in, suddenly now we find ourselves spending over $100 billion. And for a frame of reference, state of Florida has nearly twice as many people in it and has about the same budget. So we are showering money on just about anything and anyone with almost no fiscal constraints and very little oversight. Just money showering out. We need to rein that in, and then life gets a lot easier on everyone except these corrupt politicians, because that's what they've been doing. They've been shelling money out in order to retain their overpaid, overpriced seat in government. They lost sight of representative government and instead are selling us out. We need to get more vocal, more active, and again, I want to encourage everybody listening to go and check out ohioprecinctstrategy.org. It's a group of people very dedicated to encouraging and informing Ohio citizens on basic civics, what it takes to get involved at the local level. And so with that, we get better people who work their way up through the system, get into office. We might actually one day claim a majority, which gives the power back to we the people, and to Brian and Joe's point about accountability. When we get rogue agents who get in the Republican Party and then go off the rails and start doing horrible, destructive, damaging things to we the people, we can rebuild the brand by ousting them. Right now, we can't do that because we the people don't have enough power. We don't have control of the Republican Party. Some really bad actors do.
Hey, Joe, can I mention one last thing?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to give all the senior centers in Lake County a heads up. Lobbyists for Citizens is going to expose everything. I've been speaking to the Mentor Senior Center, and I've asked for records requests, and I find out that the Mentor Senior Center was established as an LLC. I don't understand that, and the only time you're setting up an LLC is so that you don't have to divulge financial information. So we're going to expose that. The Mentor Senior Center did not want us talking to any of their members and trying to educate them on the property taxes, nor could we collect any signatures from their members. So I just want to give Mentor Senior Center and all the senior centers in Lake County a heads up. Lobbyists for Citizens is on the march.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, you guys take care. Have a great rest of the weekend and stuff like that. What's left of it, which ain't much. Back to work tomorrow. Hey, take care, and we'll talk to you. Thank you. God bless.